sister and say, I'm hurting.
At first, I was very guilty. And then I realized that all the things that are taught you not only by society but by psychiatrists are just to fit you in a mold. And I've just rejected the mold, and when I rejected the mold, I was happier.
These are mostly independent organizations all across the country. There's somewhere between 60 and 75 independent groups across the United States, maybe more now because they keep growing up overnight. And this is a unified effort on the part of somewhere between 20 and 30 organizations on the East Coast. There are differences primarily of approach and of tactics. Certain groups, for example, tend to emphasize very militant confrontation tactics. Other groups will emphasize a more educational approach, going out into areas where there are what you might call people who, middle America people who don't know very much about homosexuality. And other groups will emphasize different things. Some groups, most groups in fact, provide some kind of social services for our own people, help for people in need. But this is a minor part of the effort. The major effort today is to change the social institutions that make life difficult for us.
If this is your first time here, make sure that you hit that subscribe button as well as hit that notification bell so you never miss a beat. We're going to dive right in today. We're going to do things a little bit differently today. I want to talk about no longer fighting and instead building. I'm noticing, for those of you that don't know, for the past 4 years, I have been devoting myself to fighting this ideology of the medicalization of children, of trans women being women, of the sexualization in the community. I've been fighting against all of the appropriation and hijacking that our community has gone through. The one thing that I've learned the most about this activism and this movement is that arguing it, fighting with Frank, who thinks he's Francisca, is absolutely pointless, my dear friends. It's a waste of time, energy, gifts, talents, you name it. We're wasting our time. See, I thought to myself, I was like, damn self, you've been really invested in all this. Why have you been focused so much on what you don't want? What is it that you do want? What is it that you envision for the community? So that's the question I'm going to pose to you today. What is our for? We know what we're against, but what is our for? So the first thing I think that we should work on as a community is accepting ourselves, removing the shame that is associated with being a same-sex attracted person. It's okay to be a gay, a lesbian, and or a bisexual. How do we help people feel comfortable with same-sex attraction? That should be a focus. How do we support people who have just came out? How do we create environments where people don't have to apologize for who they are? How do we rebuild community? We start with coffee meetups, we do book clubs, we do hiking groups, you do social hours, you do family-friendly gatherings, you do local networking events. The bottom line is we see a lot of corporate funding being removed from the Pride events, which kudos to them, okay, we'll go broke, as they say. The reality is we never needed corporate funding. We never needed corporate funding in 1990 when Queer Nation happened. We don't need corporate funding now. We never needed corporate funding. We just need people that are willing to get off their ass and be movers and shakers. People that are outreach organizers, chant leads, people that want to help with education and teaching the younger generations our history. One of the biggest reasons that revisionism happens is because we are not out here teaching people the history. We're not teaching people about Henry Gerber. We're not teaching people about Storm DeLarvier. We're not teaching people about Barbara Giddings, the Daughters of Pelides, all of these different organizations and we're not talking about it to the youth. And we wonder why it is that they make up these stories, right? They make up this myth, the one myth that everybody knows during Pride Month, that Marsha P. Johnson, started Stonewall Riot, and we owe all of our rights to trans women of color. Like, none of this happened. It's a lie. It's a myth, right? That continues to be spread over and over and over again. If we had education in place where our elders were educating these younger generations, things like revisionism doesn't happen. See, revisionism isn't just changing history. It's changing history for a gain. It's for a purpose, right? It's to change and alter things to benefit someone else. And right now, the homosexuals are losing. We need to preserve that history. Do oral projects. Find homosexuals that are older in your community, gays and lesbians that are older in the community, that want to share their history, that want to share the things that they have done within their community on ways that help advance LGBT rights. We need to tell their stories. Speak volumes. Get louder than these people that continue trying to drown out our voices with megaphones. We need to celebrate our same-sex attraction positively. We need to say that it's okay to be gay, that you are not flawed, that you are not worthless, that you are not incomplete, that you are not less than. We need to bring back a powerful bull dykes, butch lesbian women. We need to bring back feminine gay men that are positive representation for this younger generation that is so confused by this ideology, being shamed for their same-sex attraction. I believe, and I know a lot of people may disagree with me, but I believe at the root of transsexualism, when we get down to the nitty-gritty of this, when it is affecting my homosexual brothers and sisters, it's because they are dealing with some form of internalized homophobia to some degree. We got these trans men that are coming up on the live with my friend and I, and they're screaming, "I'm not like you, I'm not a lesbian, I'm nothing like you." And to be honest, friends, in that moment, like, I didn't react in a way that was angry or vitriol. What I experienced in that moment was heartbreak, because it just made me break in half, because the reality is you are a homosexual. There's nothing wrong with you being a homosexual. It's okay that you're same-sex attracted. And this is what I keep saying over and over and over and over again, this pushing away from same-sex attraction. So I think as a community, we need to show homosexuality in a positive light, to say that it's okay to be a homosexual, it's okay to be gender nonconforming, it's okay to not adhere to the standard gender roles of society, fitting binaries, and still be an authentic homosexual woman or man. We need to focus on building. This is going to have to do with grassroots movements within our individual community. It doesn't need to be 500 people. You can start small. You can create a Facebook group of 5 people. Make a post in your local LGBT community center Facebook page. Now, odds are they're probably going to kick you out, but at least get up there and say, "Hey, I'm creating a space for same-sex attracted people. If you're interested, please let me know. Here's the link to the community." And start getting people into the community. You can start off with 5 people. Focus on just those 5 people and have at least one event a month, whether that's bowling, whether that's some form of activism, a book club. Something needs to happen once a month. It doesn't matter what it is, and you can create that. So don't just post about community, right? What we're saying is build community. Invite people in to sit at your table, okay? So I want people to understand, right, that we have got to stop. We have got to stop fighting these individuals. Stop wasting our time and energy fighting about what a woman is and whether or not they can use the bathroom. We all know what a woman is. They know that we know that they know what a woman is. They're playing games. You think that they're this delusional, but I promise you, it's a majority of this is an act. The majority is people acting, pretending, role-playing. Look, so let's get into conclusion. So what we need to do is we need to switch our focus from, no, I'm right, you're wrong, to let's focus on our community. How can we help our same-sex attracted community? What are things that we can do to make our community stronger? Because to be honest, I feel like we haven't been a community since 1989. And I think that if we want a community for same-sex attracted people, one of two things need to happen. Either one, we need to invade the spaces that they invaded, which were our spaces, and show up unapologetically. Or two, the other option is we need to create from the ground up. And we need to do that together by creating grassroots movements. We got a lot of Indians. We need some chiefs, folks. We need some people out here giving direction. Elders, it's your time. If you're too old to get out there and march and your body is hurting and you're too sore, give it to the torchbearers. Teach the younger generations how to organize, how to do outreach, how to speak up for same-sex attraction. Because the reality is we've got to stop wasting our time fighting against the ideology when we could be standing up for our community right now. So let me know your views in the comment section below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And remember, folks, silence does clearly end here.
It's for not to be chased by the cops or, just freedom.
Do you get hassled a lot by the cops?
Yes.
We're from Philadelphia.
Well, we're from Philadelphia, and Philadelphia, it's stricter than...
Very hard. They keep you moving and moving and moving.
Got to move around the block against stay, in
And the main purpose of this is simply to give equality for homosexuals so that we'll be able to walk the streets without being hassled from people saying there goes a faggot or things like this. No, to do our thing, heterosexual world, just walk the street and we don't bother them. So just let us walk the street. And if they don't, like they're all saying, if you don't have nothing good to say, don't say a damn thing. I think a lot of people don't really believe maybe you're really being hassled or something like that. How more specifically are people bugging you?
Come out and, be around with the homosexuals, go to the places we go to and they can find out that way. I've been around us.
What happens?
And watching what goes on. They just keep going.
They think homosexuality is deviant.
Way out,
It's, they think that's sick for
homosexuals are
them.
not deviants. They are just plain people.
We're just human as
Sick
anybody
of the
is.
traditional way of sex, which is man and woman. So it's man to man and woman to woman.